Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, wrestling fans, and sports entertainment fans, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellie Jair, and we're here talking about the Intercontinental title. Oh, baby, baby. I don't want to talk about the Universal Championship right now. I'm feeling a certain kind of way. This is day 2 of recording with a Cody shirt on. And yes, Cody was an Intercontinental Champion, and so was his brother Dustin. So shout out to the Rhodes brothers for carrying this beautiful title. So I've got one over my shoulder here. Um, I've got the white version that was debuted by Cody Rhodes, incidentally. And I also have a shrine laid out to the Codester with the No Shave Man Cave title and the No Shave Man Cave title and the Nightmare Factory title and the IWGP United States title. My personal favorite, and I think is probably the most beautiful title ever ever unleashed. Even better than the Winged Eagle. But I digress. So we've had a lot of really, really good Intercontinental Champions, all the way from Pat Patterson to, we've had Carlos Colon. We had Razor Ramon, who's been a multi-time Intercontinental Champion, and just based on the way he defended the title and the way he carried himself as the champion, could go down arguably as one of the best Intercontinental Champions yet ever. Now, I went on this long rant earlier, and for some dumb reason, old Ellie Jair didn't click record. And what I was going on and on about was the fact that we have upon us, in front of us, going on a amazing historic title defense reign of over 600 days by Gunther. Now, when you compare Gunther's title reign to Roman Reigns, you don't have a bunch of craziness every time Gunther comes to the ring. You're not like, well, Solo's going to come when stuff gets tight, so we're just going to leave it alone. It's no kidding. Gunther is in the ring, he's putting it on the line, and he's coming out the victor as your Intercontinental Champion. Some of his adversaries that he's faced, who probably should have beat him but didn't. Chad Gable probably should have beat him. I'd like to see Ricochet carry that title again. I'm a huge Ricochet fan. Fortunately, I don't think we'll see The Rock carrying the Intercontinental title. Hopefully we don't see him carrying the Universal title. I don't want to talk about it too soon, right? Godfather, the Road Dogg, was the Intercontinental Champion. So that was super interesting all during that time where Billy Gunn and Road Dogg were individual champions, going back and forth with the Hardcore title and the Intercontinental title. And the Intercontinental title was one of those titles that was almost like a gateway to the World Championship. So they'd come up, they'd be in a tag team, they'd cut their teeth, they'd figure out what was going on, how to move in the ring, how to cut a promo on the mic. Next thing you know, they have the Intercontinental title, or maybe the European Championship. They'd carry the European Championship for a minute, cut their teeth. Hey, I think you're ready. You'll carry the Intercontinental title. Boom, you're the World Champion. Now, the Intercontinental title and the United States title sort of became props a little bit later on, but the Intercontinental title nonetheless was so historic. Pat Patterson, who came out, was the inaugural champion. Amazing champion, amazing mind for professional wrestling. Owen Hart was an Intercontinental Champion. Like I said, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, they would go back and forth as Intercontinental and Hardcore Champions. Triple H carried the title a few times. Edge and Christian, they were also Intercontinental Champions. Chris Benoit was an Intercontinental Champion. Some of those matches or some of those champions that you talk about that it took them to the next level. Chris Jericho, he comes to the WWE from WCW, the Lionheart, Y2J, that whole thing. And, you know, he was that lion salt, and his personality and just the way he commanded the ring definitely made him a very, very strong intercontinental champion, excuse me. You know, Lance Storm, he was the Intercontinental Champion. He would also win the United States title and put a Canadian flag on it, which was super funny when he was in a different faction in the WCW. If you haven't seen that, you should check that out. Lance Storm with the Canadian United States champion. Very, very funny. Championship. Thank you. So Chyna, you know, she was the first woman to hold a men's title. And yes, you know, Tessa Blanchard was the first woman to go on and hold a world title. Kudos to her and everything she did at then Impact, now TNA. Masha Slamovich would go on as the GCW World Champion. Extremely significant and should not be scoffed at. But, you know, when you talk about the industry and you talk about sports entertainment and professional wrestling, the company, the name that comes to mind is the WWE. Oh, you're such a WWE brain and you drank the Kool-Aid, blah, blah, blah. No, I do have a WWE brain, but I totally get AEW. I totally get New Japan. I totally get NWA, even the current rendition of NWA, which you can catch on the CW app right now. Super cool, easier to get a hold of than scouring around on YouTube. So good job to them getting a TV deal even after all the shenanigans that has gone on. But when you talk about sports entertainment and professional wrestling, you talk about the WWE. And I'm really looking forward to a day where we will mention almost synonymously the champions from TNA, the champions from AEW, and it won't be sort of this like you try and figure to squeeze one of these wrestlers' names into discussion. It'll just happen organically. And you know, some of those champions that just happened organically were those D'Lo Browns, who, when you think European title, you think of D'Lo Brown. When you think of European title, you think of Triple H, and you think of Shawn Michaels when they were DX and they would carry, you know, the different titles. And the European title was one of those titles that sort of worked its way up and, you know, has since obviously gone to the wayside. But, you know, the Intercontinental title, now held by Gunther for over 600 freaking days, I mean, it's freaking amazing. I think if you were to go up and add all of Edge's title reigns, wouldn't even come close. All of Christian's title reigns would not even come close. You know, the only person that would come close to that, but he only had one title reign, and that would be the Honky Tonk Man. But it's still not freaking 600 days. So I think, you know, kudos to Gunther, kudos to the WWE, and figuring out how to keep a champion relevant for that long. Oh, well, they did it with Roman. Did they do it with Roman Reigns? Is he as relevant now as when he won the championship? I would argue that Gunther is more relevant now that he's 600 days into his title reign than when he won the Intercontinental title. You know, coming in as the challenger and just beating the brakes off of Ricochet to win the Intercontinental title. And like I said when we first started this recording, I'm a huge Ricochet fan back in the Lucha Underground days. But I think what he has done with the Intercontinental title to make it that championship that is respected on that show, because before we had Seth frickin' Rollins walking around with the world title. It was Roman Reigns who showed up every 4, 5, 6 weeks. So kudos to Gunther, everything he's done. You look back at some of those other eras in professional wrestling that we don't really holler about, would absolutely be, Drew McIntyre as your world champion during COVID era. Sheamus, all the work that he did during COVID, and just being there, being available, putting the work in, should absolutely be commended. Now, Sheamus is getting ready to come back, and the show of the Immortals, the night of the Immortals, the show of shows, WrestleMania, there is no better place for Gunther to defend the Intercontinental Championship than, I would say, night 2, the opening match. Earlier I had said the opening match of both nights, WrestleMania, the first night, Saturday night, the first match, I'd like to see Jimmy and Jay go at it. Now, Jay is in line to compete for the Intercontinental title. So this is super interesting to see how this whole thing will come down. I don't really think that Jay will get the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. I don't think he'll get it at Elimination Chamber because Gunther can't travel. So we're going to have Gunther as your Intercontinental Champion at least through WrestleMania. And at that point, I think we'll see Sheamus versus Gunther, and Gunther will become a Grand Slam champion, having won all of the titles, which is super exciting. So kudos to the career, kudos to everything that Gunther has done. I'm excited to see him as a world champion. I definitely see him as a world champion, and it won't be long. I think we'll see some title changes. There'll be a little bit of hot potato in 2024 with the world titles, plural, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen because I think Gunther is going to be involved in a lot of that once he relinquishes the Intercontinental title. So there it is, baby. The Intercontinental title started in 1979. First champion, none other than Pat Patterson, would go on to be defended by some of the greats. JBL, The Miz, Christian, Wade Barrett, I think he's a 5-time champion. A former world champion, Kofi Kingston, was a multi-time Intercontinental champion. And, some of the names that come up that are most synonymous with the Intercontinental title definitely would have to be The Miz and, he's an 8 or 9-time Intercontinental champion, and just an amazing champion. So kudos to the WWE for keeping and making the Intercontinental Championship relevant. Thank you so much for checking us out here at the No Shave Man Cave. Come check us out where you get all of your podcasts. We're the No Shave Man Cave, or come check us out on YouTube. Just look up No Shave Man Cave. You'll see Ellie Jair and Jay Tilly coming at you every chance we get. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a little bit of professional wrestling. And thanks for joining us here again at the No Shave Man Cave. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.